us. But so anyway, just wanted to welcome James Hingley on the podcast with Atlantic Junk Removal.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming out, my man, and appreciate you. For the viewers, we just loaded up a full load of junk there. We got a bathroom reno upstairs. And
A little sweat happening from that.
yeah, it's a little hot out there, man. Yeah, I hear you. What about that hurricane? Thought we were getting all that rain.
Unfortunately, I was hoping a little bit to get some trees down in people's yards that need removed, but without any damage.
Yeah, we don't need any more damage.
No, we don't. There's a whole season yet to come, so.
Right, we're just getting into it. It's hard to believe summer's already come and gone.
It is. That August weather change, it's just happened overnight.
Yeah, it's like you spin around a couple times and a few months pass.
Yeah.
It's like crazy. It was like, oh yeah, spring season, we're all busy, and the next thing it was summer. And
well, I found that in July. I said our nights were pretty good. Last year they weren't so, And then August came, and now we're into those damp days. And
yeah, humid and muggy.
Yeah.
I do like that, the mornings now, if you're up early, if you're an early bird, I like to be able to walk. I can walk the dogs in like a hoodie and shorts.
Yeah.
In the morning, but like still by like 11:30, 12 o'clock, 1 p.m., you're starting to get that summer temperature back.
It's the Nova Scotia outfit, I call it. Hoodie and shorts and sandals.
Yeah, man. But I love it because it kind of gives you a little break from the heat at the tail end of the days.
Yeah. But
then right in the middle is still summer. Like
it's good to pack a bag, though. That's the only problem.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's tough. But, I guess a double-edged sword. It's nice to get a little relief from the heat, but then it also tells you summer's coming to an end.
It is, yeah. So, I mean, we've had September's, though, stretch out pretty long and into October, so hopefully it does that again. But
yeah. Well, I'll tell you, we went moose hunting there last October. Just at the tail end. It was the 27th to the 4th of November. And beautiful weather the whole way up. It was still like in the high mid-teens. But then we got on the back of, was it Foxback? Yeah, Foxback Mountain, or Foxback Ridge, Icy Mountain, way up top of the back of Shedicamp, Pleasant Bay area.
Oh, yeah.
And then, a few thousand feet elevation. And by the time we got up there, it was nice the first day, snowed the rest of the time.
That's up between the Polletts and Meat Cove.
There. Yeah, where we were. We sat for lunch, and quite a few days you could look at Polletts and you could see Meat Cove. We were at the very end.
That's cool.
Any further off, you fell right over.
I heard it's quite the hike up there.
Yeah. We did the non-motorized too, so it was a little extra level. Like no ATVs, you pack your stuff up the mountain, you pack the moose and your stuff back.
Bushwhacking, you love that.
Yeah, man. So anyway, let's just dive right into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, background. Where are you?
Well, I mean, I'm from Halifax originally. As I said, I've lived out in Alberta a couple different times in Ontario, but originally from Halifax, lived here most of my life, and I love it here. Just something that draws me to it. And although I got to say, Alberta's pretty cool too with those mountains.
Yeah, I had to consider moving out there for the sole reason that hunting's better.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, there's a lot of hunting out there, and the industry's a lot bigger too.
How many years were you out there for?
Probably a total of 3 altogether, and so it wasn't too long, but it was good. It hit, in the oil field patch, and
were you working right in it?
Yeah, I was working in that, and then I was working into car sales and stuff, and just kind of dipping around a lot of different things, and the oil came to an end there, and I was out there for a bad year when it crashed, and so.
I remember them.
Last hired, first fired thing. And
LIFO, FIFO, last in, first out, man. I know all about it.
But it was good work. I loved it, and but it's also good to be home too. So, so I started this company up just this year. I had the idea back in 2017 for it, and had gone as far as to buy a truck. Funny stories. I went to Montreal, flew up there, found this truck, bought it, drove it back to Nova Scotia in the dead of winter.
Well, that's a great drive.
Yeah, it was some heating issues in the truck, so I had to buy some.
Oh, shoot.
But I got it back here and parked it, and went to start it up the next day, and the fuel injector pump went.
And what kind of truck was it?
It was in a Zuzu dump box.
One of those little ones? Yeah. So,
I looked it up, and the fuel injector pump was a good $3,000-4,000 more than the truck was when I bought it. So I just parked that idea for a while. Yeah, sold the truck and got back and put it on the back burner. And this year everything just came into alignment, and I really want to get it going finally. So I dug up the old files and got cracking. And I had worked in junk removal for other companies, when I was younger, back in like early, mid 2000s and stuff. And I just really enjoyed the work. I can't say it was fun because nobody loves crawling under decks and digging through attics. But
yeah, what did draw you to it? What was kind of the inspiration behind that?
I think the freedom of being out on the road. You're not in an office. There's a lot of people always on top of you and doing things. And I worked in the law enforcement industry, and it was like you're always on top. You always got to be on time. You always have to do this. It's got to be bing, bing, bing
on someone else's schedule.
Like perfect. And as much as you are on time for your clients, it's just a different, way about it. It's different especially when you're working for yourself. But it's a good balance, and hopefully one day I'm just fully working on my own and do my own thing. So.
Yeah. Is that the kind of the long-term outlook, like as you try and grow and scale?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I mean, to have a nice, successful company and lots of trucks and lots of employees and just, full-on junk, that would be great.
Yeah. Because you guys, you do got a couple guys that you have with you once in a while, don't you?
Yeah, no, I do have some workers, and they've been great and working with me and my schedule and working for our clients' schedules, and it's just been going well so far. So kind of status quo. We'll just keep trucking with it.
Yeah. And when was your official launch date? I know we've been hanging out for a little while, and I know it's kind of been talked about, and I know it kind of happened all of a sudden, but I didn't really nail down the start point.
My first job was in March of this year.
Okay.
Yeah. So the exact date I'd have to go back and look, but I activated the business back in November of 2023.
Okay.
And then just took time building up. I wanted to get things in place first before I started doing certain things that I had in my mind that I want to have this, and this in place before I start.
Yeah, like all the background work.
Yeah, I wanted to have a website active. I wanted to be able to take online appointments, and I wanted to offer this service right away instead of just scrambling, phone call, do this, and not having anything.
No consistency. Yeah. You don't have all the pieces kind of put together, so to speak.
I wanted to have that professional look right out the gate, and I think I achieved that, and it's been going well. I said it's been few people have confused me for franchises, so I take that as a good thing because it's homegrown. There's no franchising to it at all. It's been everything from scratch. And
this is all you.
This is 100% me from
all you. See, I apologize. I thought this was a franchise.
No. Yeah, the website I took the time and built that myself.
Okay.
I had some friends guide me through that, and because that was a learning curve for me.
So who would be your direct competitor, I guess?
My direct competitors, I compare myself to the franchise companies out there.
Yeah.
The fully insured companies that have a long-standing history. 1-800-GOT-JUNK or Junk Works or Junkery or there's so many other ones. But
right.
That's who I want to compare myself to, and that's my goal is to achieve that level and try to offer the people of Halifax and surrounding areas a local option as opposed to a franchise option.
Yeah. So let's wind it back a little bit. So what kind of inspired you? Obviously you talked about the monotony of office work and having to always be on kind of someone else's schedule on top of things. What was kind of your inspiration for getting to entrepreneurship? Was did your parents do stuff, have their own business, or what kind of drew you to want to get out on your own? Because I know it's not for everybody.
It wouldn't have been nobody in my family really, initial family would be business oriented. I do have family from my stepfather's side that are, and I admired what they've done. And
what did they get into?
They got into online marketing and big stuff, resorts and construction, hauling and stuff like that. So
you kind of were exposed a little bit to some
yes,
of that.
Absolutely. And then my father's work ethic was just go, and I seem to have that. I've always had 2 or 3 jobs on the go at once and always been working extra hours. So
Yeah, I could attest to that. Like, growing up in a small town, dad was a lobster fisherman, electrician. He was always on the go doing whatever.
Right.
And I could definitely attest to having this, similar drive from the similar place. Like, the family kind of, you always got to be doing something. Like,
Yeah.
always got to be moving.
I do. And then when I was down to one job and I was like, well, this isn't really, I don't know what to do with my time. So
Yeah.
pull that out of the woodworks and get going on it.
Yeah. So you kind of just decided that, you kind of wanted to kind of have a little taste of that life, and that's where kind of the search got into, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And then you kind of...
I had a really good logo made back in 2017 when I was starting this journey, and
also went as far back as 17.
yeah, 2017 is when I started it, and then I had the logo made, and I fell in love with it. The guy did a great job, and I've just hung on to those files, and I was like, no, like I got to make this something. I said, and people draw to it, and I've been using it, and it's been working really good. So,
what held you up from 17 to 23?
I just got busy with life, and it was I had another job that I was doing on the side, and that was going well. So it was just kind of in a good mix there, and then I switched careers, and in 2021, so I took the time for that to unfold, and then my father passed there a few years ago too. So that held me up, but now I've got it all cleared out and all settled, and it's just time to go.
Yeah, you got your focus. You know where you want to be, what you want to do, and you kind of just been at it.
Yeah. Just work hard and see what happens. I mean, pensions aren't always great nowadays, so
yeah,
I have to come up with other options, and this is mine. So
yeah, and unfortunately, like I come from consumer packaged goods industry. I did 8.5 years with Unilever Canada, running their ice cream business for Atlantic, and when I started in 2012, I was a full corporate employee, like full benefits, pension package, salary, company car, paid
I'm impressed with the shape you kept for working for an ice cream company.
Oh.
Because I wouldn't have fared so well.
Well, see, it's funny, like they didn't really give you that much. They give you a few coupons once in a year. One time when we still had an office, and I'll get back to the point of the story, we did have a little ice cream freezer, and we did fill it up, and we'd get it filled up periodically. But it's funny. Well, I wasn't the main one dipping into it.
Yeah.
I did catch myself indulging a bit more than I usually would have.
I would have been full bore.
Oh, man. I mean, it's delicious.
Yeah.
Everybody loves ice cream.
Yeah, no.
Right?
Haagen-Dazs has been great too.
Oh, that's the competitor, man. But whatever. I don't work for them anymore. Fuck them. But no, but basically what I was getting at, like I come on like full meal deal, full package deal with the company, at like 23. I thought, for lack of better terms at that time, not knowing what I know today, like I thought I made it.
Right.
Because like, I grew up, Dad and Grandpa were like, oh, you don't want to work with your hands like us, fishing and doing labor work and carpentry and electrical. Meanwhile, they're living awesome lives,
Yeah, you see it and you're like...
Right? So I seen it too, but they're like, no, you need a job with a university degree, a pension, a salary, and benefits. This life isn't for you. Basically is what they were saying. And anyway, so I went in full tilt, did the whole university, got the job, and I thought I made it, but then as soon as I got in the door, we had an office on Brownlow. All of a sudden, we had the Sobeys team in there, my manager, Loblaw's guy, executive admin. Next thing, we had no executive admin. They fired the team lead from Sobeys. He was a dick anyway. Moved his position to Toronto. Next thing, 2 of the cams centralized their position to Toronto. And I just seen cut. Then the reps, they started coming at the reps. Cut one head, moved it to a contract position. So they don't got to pay the big benefits and the big pension packages and all the perks that really got you the good employees.
It's not safe anymore.
And then we went from 9 reps to 7 reps to 5 reps to 4 reps. And by the time I was done, I had like 2 guys. I was the only like full-time Unilever guy left.
Yeah.
And, and you could tell the business was suffering. The people we were hiring, we were paying a fraction of what like the people used to get.
Right.
And you just couldn't get quality. You couldn't get the quality employee. And then, it made deliverables on your KPIs like tough.
It makes you wonder if the businesses, like, yes, financially they're making that, but if they're not looking at the standard and if that's going to actually affect them long term.
Everybody's looking at the short term, man.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, you can talk like, what's the friggin', I forget the guy's name anyway, but one of the CEO at the time when I was first getting in, it was all about sustainability and community and all this good stuff. Paul Pullman, yeah, the Remax creator Dave Linninger actually says he's a great guy, and I'm sure he is. But yeah, I found, like, especially when I got in, like, my old director would call Unilever like the Dutch bank.
Mm-hmm.
Like, instead of selling more and being innovative and like just selling more product and making the difference up in like sales volume, they would just cut and whittle the company or the divisions down to,
right,
bare bones and expect, positive outcomes and performance, when more and more as the years progressed, you could see people were like overloaded with more work because the people they'd cut out, they try and shuffle some of the responsibilities on other desks, not pay them anymore, expect them to take that on plus what they already had. So to your point, if you're asking me, I think it's hugely detrimental to a business because
I would think
your employees are what make the business work.
yeah.
And if they are miserable or feel undervalued, then you're not going to get that 100%. Or like some people, if they think they got your back, maybe they're doing 120%. Like,
and everybody in your business, no matter what they're doing in your business, I believe everybody is a salesman.
Everybody.
So whether in the mailroom or they're in the sales department, they're out there and people ask them questions about what they do. They become a salesman for your business, or a salesperson. And it's detrimental if you don't have good people that are happy in that. Well, they're not going to recommend it or talk good about it or want to talk about it. And then maybe that's a deal down the road that comes out.
Yeah, and one of the things that always used to get me is like Unilever would be like, oh, we love our employees and we love sustainability and blah, blah. But they really like their bottom line more than anything. And I mean, I get it. You got stakeholders. You got to perform. You got to deliver on those measurables and make sure you're keeping the share price growing and all that. But yeah, to your point, the level of happiness of your employees definitely, to me, dictates your growth and performance throughout the rest of the 100%. Business. And I know, like, I know people that left Unilever. I got structured out, like, being in Atlantic Canada, we're 10% of the population, so we get 10% of the investment, right? Because we're 10% of their portfolio, and they're always trying to just like, oh, friggin' Atlantic, we'll throw it on some guy, his desk in Ontario or Montreal, and we'll figure it out. And if we get half, whatever, we don't really care that much. And it can be felt like in the territory too. Like I've even still have some relationships with some of the store managers and different people I see just throughout the community because I would have serviced everybody. Yeah. And they're like, man, we don't see anybody no more.
I mean, goes with my employees. I only have a couple, and it's like I just treat them good. Like you buy them lunches, you buy them coffees. You just the end of the week of a hard week or something. Here's some whatever for the weekend, or it goes a long way when you treat people good.
100%, man. Like, to your point, like, we used to have, like, bigger stipends when I started for stipends, if I'm not saying that right, the linguistics out there. But, I think it was, like, $20 for breakfast, $20 for lunch, and then we could do $50 for dinner or something. And then all of a sudden, they didn't want you really to do much more than $20. And it's like, but then you see what's happened in the last few years. You're lucky if you can get lunch for $20.
Right. Yeah,
there's no $5 footlongs at Subway no more.
I think, yeah, like McDonald's
cheeseburgers,
big boy meals, like we're hitting around 20 probably.
Oh it's man, I just went. I'm a sucker for McDonald's. I love McDonald's. I just went and I had like, shamefully enough, I've got like a double Big Mac, a McDouble, and a junior chicken.
It's probably a good $22 or something.
Yeah, I think it was like $23 or something like that. Like you could get that for under $20. Yeah, just 2, 3, or 4 years ago.
But you used to be able to get under 10.
Oh man, well, what's like a McDouble used to be under $2 now. I think it's like $2.39 or something. But yeah, man, it's just crazy the way things have went. But to your point, yeah, if you can just keep your people happy and not strip away all the perks and benefits to like, why am I here?
Yeah, one of those is like, we're in the junk business. We're gonna get stuff that's good, still usable, and we donate what we can. But I mean, if one of my employees is struggling and there's like almost a near brand new coach that somebody's asked us to remove, and they want it, or a TV that works, and they don't have a TV, take it, man. Like,
yeah, you made your job on the removal.
Yeah. Take that. Said, it helps me. I don't have to pay to get rid of it, or don't donate it. But if my employee needs something, I'm gonna give it to him first, and then we'll donate things. And it's because.
Yeah, do you find that, like, just on that topic, like, there's just like treating people right? I think that's like a lost art. Like, everybody's so greedy now.
It is.
It's all for them, none for anybody else.
And it's not always on purpose. I mean, everybody's in a tight spot these days.
Yeah,
with the economy, right? It's bad, and everybody needs something, but it does. If it's not really that detrimental to you, or that important, or it's not going to stop you from eating or something, then just give a hand.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to help here and there.
Yeah.
And I don't, obviously we're limited in our capacity to a degree, whether it's financially or the bandwidth we had to take on helping other people. But like, it's not like I'm out there like every day, all day trying to save people. But like, I run a little Airbnb. You see in the front of the house there, we converted our garage, and I've just had a few tenants come through that, some from away, some needed jobs, some needed cars, some needed, a couple needed jobs, places to stay. And, obviously being an Airbnb host, like, I'm not just there to, I'm making money from the transaction,
right.
But, so a few people confided in me, like they come from, places that were much worse off than us, like Ukraine, and, lost like permanently, like blown up.
They're starting from scratch,
from nothing, and the wife luckily had a great job, and the husband didn't speak any English. He needed a job. I helped him get a job.
Mm-hmm.
They had a little girl. I got right by the retaining wall where we put where we just put the trailer. Well, I seen her. They were just, I think it was the first or second day. She was having these little, I think they just took loose leaves and they cut them in little squares, and she was like sitting on the edge, just like coloring.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, I can't just have her sitting there. So I went and like bought like these little bistro tables from IKEA, like the little bamboo style, like wood, just little chairs. And I got these little like grass tiles.
Yeah, nice.
I just set it up in the corner right by the door, and I set it up, and I got her coloring books and crayons, and I just knock. I go, listen, I don't want to, hopefully this isn't offensive, but I just seen your little girl coloring outside, and I know we don't have a space because we're just getting into this Airbnb stuff, and we don't have like a little patio area. So I got this set up, and like I just want her to have that, and just, let her enjoy her time outside. If she's up before you guys, just let her color
awesome.
and whatever. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and just little stuff like that, like, they're, I'm not going to lie, like it's like the short-term rates for Airbnbs are quite good, and I just wanted to give back a little bit. It wasn't much.
Yeah.
And then, Buddy needed a job, and I was like, hey, listen, I can't make any promises, but I'll promise you I'll give it my best. And, luckily enough, I had a buddy at my jiu-jitsu gym. I reached out in our little community group there, and guy DM'd me, got him an interview, got him a job, and they keep in touch to the day. So it's like, little things like that.
It does. I put on these yard sales, so I'll collect the stuff, and if it's like, timing is big for me too. Like if I'm pressed for time with jobs, I can't obviously spend a lot of time offloading, but I'll get to the Mission Mart or to some of the other not-for-profits and try to give to them fast. And
where are the best ones? I don't mean to interrupt you. Sometimes I want to do that, and I don't know. I want the most money to go to the right place.
So I'm a big fan of Mission Mart. That's
Mission
like
Mart.
Big fan for them. They're out in Bears Lake. It's just really convenient for me because all the dumps and everything are in that vicinity.
Yeah, Goodwood's just down there. Right?
It's hard to get into downtown. to donate because traffic can tie you up for so long. And if I have clients, like
you got to get going. Yeah.
Yeah. And now there's another one in Spryfield that just opened up. The Salvation Army's out there too.
Do you got one out there?
Yeah. And so that's beneficial for me. But what I try not to do, so if I can't get that stuff and there's stuff I will keep. And I've had 2 yard sales so far this summer.
Yeah, you just had a big one, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And I still have another one to go before we make our donation. But we've been raising money for Hope for Wildlife out of these yard sales.
Nice.
And so by the end of the summer, I want to be able to go out to them and just hand them a big wad of cash. And
nice.
It's but the last yard
you should
sale.
get one of those giant checks.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Right? For the photo op.
Yeah. And I'm running out of space to store stuff. So at the last yard sale, there was just so much stuff that was left. And I just didn't have anywhere to put it. And I know that there was a couple people that had stopped by the yard sales that sell stuff in the community. Like that's kind of how they make their living.
Yeah.
They sell
buy
stuff.
and sell, yeah.
Yeah, there's an older gentleman that he's just, in a wheelchair and he just sells stuff. And then, so I cut him some good deal and stuff. And then there's another couple that that's what they do. And at the end of the yard sale, it's like, hey, this whole pile of stuff, you just have it. Because honestly, I'm just going to take it to Value Village, and I'd prefer you to have it and benefit from it than a big corporation like Value Village. And I will take stuff to Value Village if I'm stuck with it. Like, I'd rather not go to, at the end of the day, I don't want to go to the dump. I want it to go somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere where it could be used or repurposed if there's a purpose for it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my last resort. So I had an opportunity there, and it's way better for you to have it than for them to have it. So you take that and you make some money off of that and do something with it. And I think that was like a really big thing. And like you said, just doing something small like that, right? Like a table for a little girl.
100%.
It's just, so I try to do as much of that as I can. Like I said, it is tough when you're trying to drive around Halifax in traffic.
Oh,
and
man.
you've got a job in Cole Harbour, and then your next job is in Bedford, and it's 3:00, and and school's back in. And
hopefully soon you have more trucks, get more places.
That would be great. People, right? Yeah, that would be great. That would be the ideal. The ideal situation would be to, have a truck in certain zones, but it never works out that way because then you just get all jobs on one side and then none on the other.
Yeah, it's always
there's no perfect in this business at all.
If you're searching for perfect, you'll probably be looking for a while. Or you'll never get started.
No, you won't. So
But it's just like, I think it's like, everybody's so pressed and strapped and spread so thin. Like maybe that's what's missing is like people are just too overwhelmed to really do that little bit of good once in a while, where I've just felt like, I don't know, like, you're not that much older than me, but I remember like coming to university and like, the early 2000s and, growing up down home and as a teenager in the 90s, I just felt like, and maybe it's just from, maybe I'm being naive and I just was too young to see it, but I just felt like there wasn't as much like stress in the world as there is today.
No, yeah.
I felt like people were more willing to go the
now
extra mile.
Are you basing that off of your vision or of like looking at older people that had the stresses that you have now?
Well, it could be 6 of one, half dozen the other. I don't know if it's that or if I just was like oblivious to the bigger picture, so to speak, like politics. Like it's all, when I grew up, and I'm sure you can attest, the one thing they said you never talked about in public was your religion and your politics.
It's the no talk barbershop.
Yeah. Now people will ask you who you're voting for, and if you don't vote for the people that they support, well, you're the enemy.
Or adhere to whatever their beliefs are in anything.
It's
I think the internet has done a lot of that.
Social media broke us for sure.
It absolutely has. I know that lately there's been a lot of stuff happening in the UK, and nobody knows about it because it's not being shown. But it's like
this was supposed to open our eyes to everything, and I think the government's like, oh wait, they know too much now. Like, I don't know.
And now I see like pictures of things happening, and like everybody's believing the picture they're seeing, but it's AI done, and it's
hard to believe.
And it's like, no, there's no portals opening up over Tennessee right now.
Right,
it's just an AI cloud somebody made.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know what it is, and maybe it was just me being young, but and maybe we were in a bit more of a prosperous time or whatever. Or maybe ignorance is bliss, and you just what you didn't know couldn't hurt you, and you just
Well,
didn't
I
pay
think
attention
that's
to it.
it. Like we know, like you read a paper and there's only so much in that paper,
Right.
and you watch the news and there's only so much in the news.
Right.
But now you get the full meal
You see
deal.
all the suffering,
Both
all
sides.
the bad, yeah.
You see everything,
And then the made up stuff too.
and then you just don't know. Like you're just it's all there, but I don't know. I don't know what it is, what to believe,
That's kind of my position. It's like I don't know. I don't believe anybody anymore.
Yeah,
Like
unless it's a firsthand experience. I'm really not that
yeah.
you know.
I try not to, but it's tough to not get a little invested, especially like, you know, municipally. Like when you look at some of the stuff going on, like, you know, our roads are shit. You know, our services, the infrastructure, and it's like, seems like nobody really looked like, you know, we're just talking about how everything's like short term. Everybody just wants now, all the money now. Like I think like, I hate to say it, but even the politicians and the people in council, like I think it was always just like, what do we need to do right now to get back in the next 4 years? It was never like, what's our 25-year, 50-year outlook, 100-year outlook? Like,
Right.
And that's where we're running into these flood issues because Halifax Water, which is hilarious that they're called Halifax Water, a privately owned company. But, you know, I know from talking to people, like they haven't updated anything since Jesus been walking the earth, basically.
Yeah, I know they just did a big update on the Dumbrack because it finally blew the big line there.
And then I know a buddy that used to had a coworker used to work for Nova Scotia Power. They don't upgrade anything. They're supposed to cull out some of the trees and stuff that fall over every so many years. They don't do that.
I noticed the drive around the city a bit that I think the lawn maintenance is taking a bit of a dive.
Yeah.
Like I know coming down, I've been actually been meaning to kind of report it to see if they'll do something about it. Coming down out the Windsor Street on the hairpin turn,
Grass too tall, you can't see.
the bushes are coming out into the roadway.
Yeah,
Like,
I noticed
quite a
it.
bit.
They don't mow in front of the school. Like
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but it's because they always used to be really good on it. You'd see mowers all day long when you're driving around town.
Well, I think they're too busy putting money towards all these little squeaky wheels that are going around.
Yeah,
You know, I don't want to get too deep into it. But,
yeah, they're
some of the stuff
the,
that don't really matter long term.
they're a pain in the butt for me downtown when I'm driving around with my truck and trailer.
Yeah.
For turning, and just for finding somewhere to pull over and park, because you used to be able to, you know, as a commercial vehicle, you could pull over and park in four-way if you're on the job. You're fine. You're not going to get a ticket because you're delivering or you're loading. But now you obviously can't do that in a bike lane.
Right.
And it's a whole lot of curves to go up and over.
Yeah,
too,
and the
if you
one
could.
I love too is the one where you come up by the Halifax detachment down this hill.
Oh, yeah.
And they put that bike lane in. You used to be able to turn right. Now nobody can turn right
Yeah.
until the light goes.
And that's a big, like, you come in with a truck and a long trailer, you're good. You used to be able to make the turns, but now you're always coming out in an oncoming traffic lane to make the turn. And I'm not driving an 18-wheeler. I shouldn't have to do those things. But
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, some engineer made that choice. Like,
yeah, so
they didn't think of anything but like, oh, we're putting the bike lane here and fuck the rest of the
I
traffic.
think for me it would be fine. Like I could appreciate it, and you know, if there was a ton of usage, but I just don't see a ton of usage on it when I'm driving around.
I've walked on that bike lane enough times, and I don't go downtown that often. But like once in a while, Caitlin and I, or we'll meet up, the boys and stuff, and go for dinner and whatever. And I'm walking in that bike lane. I should be getting run over by bikes.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, like I should be having my head on a swivel, not daring to put a toe in that bike lane for the amount of money they spent of our money.
Yeah.
For that, they should be full.
I
Everyone.
I agree, and that's what I was expecting to see, and I'd be like, if I saw that, then I could be all for it.
Nobody's driving a bike because they want to.
And the other problem I find is, in the winter time here, the plows will pull those up left, right, and center.
Oh yeah, then you got to redo them.
And then you're redoing them, and in some cases, you know, some cases in private companies, anyways, private lands, it's the same company doing the same work. So
yeah.
So you have to be, you have to cost. Is it really worth it? I'd like to see how much they put into redoing them in the springs. I'd like to see how much money.
That and all the roads, the same ones they seem to be paving over every year. It's almost like they do it on purpose.
Yeah.
Just for the union workers to get their work.
Well, I think that I almost feel like maybe pavement quality has gone down over the years. I don't know.
I'm sure it has. I made the comment, there's roads in Rome that are still in better shape than what we got, but they're like, yeah, they don't have the volume of traffic on it. It's like, well, they're still there.
Well, they're just tearing up the top of Cowie Hill, and it used to be concrete up there. It was like a section that was concrete.
Yeah, it's probably good to go.
And it lasted forever.
That's the one that it sounds different when you drive on it, right?
Yeah, it was all light colored white, and it was like, it lasted my whole childhood, so over 20 years. And
yeah, what's the last time you heard of a road lasting 20 years?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, you can't do all the roads in concrete, but it's an idea that there's something better out there.
Yeah, I wish I would have knew, because I would have sent that invoice to the Department of Transportation. There was a pothole up on the 101 just before you turned into Sackville. Buddy, I hit that so hard, I thought my wheel was still in that hole.
Yeah.
I had to do both control arms, both rear coil springs, sway bar link, the whole thing.
I had a similar thing years ago, and I learned a lesson. I don't know if it's still that way or now or not, but if you hit a pothole and you damage your vehicle and you report to the city right away.
I did not.
And if it's not fixed within X amount of time, it used to be 48 hours or something, then they were liable. I was
there for months.
Then they were liable. And if there was already another report on it and it hadn't been fixed, then they're liable. And of course, you'd have to do a Freedom of Information Act to know what address the file was put in or what intersection. But it was an option.
Yeah, man. Hole underneath my car is new.
Yeah.
And it's like, would I love to have a nice, shiny, new, brand new car? Yeah. But my Jetta, aside from the parts I put in it, don't cost me anything.
That happened to me once.
And I don't care how much money I'm making.
I had a Dodge Charger, and I was going through the rotary in a rainstorm, and the rotary had flooded, the Armdale rotary. And I hit a pothole that was up a bit, and it flung up and hit the underneath of my floor, and I took it to the body shop, and they're like, we don't see this. I was like, yeah, I'm sure you don't. The underneath of my floor is dented, so
crazy.
I don't know how you're going to fix that.
Did you get it done?
Yeah, they did something. I don't know what they did, but it went through insurance. And
fixed her up?
Yeah.
Crazy.
It was wild.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I mean, they got to... I don't know if it's like putting people in there that actually have had like some experience that like merits them being in that position. Like, I won't name names, but like CBC journalist, why is she a counselor for this area?
Right.
What has she done in her life that allows her to oversee municipal budget? And
right.
Like, I have a business degree, I have worked for a business, I ran a business, I run budgets, and I was not allowed to go over them. Do you know what happened if I go over budget? I get put on probation, I wouldn't get my bonus,
right,
and I wouldn't get my 2.5% or 2% yearly inflationary pay raise. Somehow government, we're over budget, oops, or we didn't do what we say, oops.
Yeah.
It's just not the same accountability. So,
and I like to see Halifax is a very unique place, and it's a very unique design. It's not your typical GTA where it's just a grid city. It needs specialty attention. It needs special minds, special designers, special engineers to figure out how to make this place accessible and function properly and efficient, because it's, like I said, it's not your typical program that you can adopt from other cities. It needs its own special.
Yeah, because they kind of built it kind of where the horse carts went. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's circles, there's hills, there's one-way streets, nothing's gridded. It's just, yeah, it needs a lot of entry points in this. Needs something.
I don't think I made a video on those new ferries they're having. I don't know if they'll ever get to it, but the one out the Bedford Ferry Terminal.
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, these 5 electric ferries are going to be the saving grace for all our transportation congestion. It's like
electric ferries and -20 salt water. I don't know. I'll see it when I believe it. But
me too, especially because the diesel ones can't even make it most of the days.
Right. Yeah. So I hope, but we'll have to see it first.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, like a chimpanzee, I think, could make better decisions. Like, sorry for anybody that's in council watching this. Maybe you are great at your job, but don't look like it. So, but anyway, let's get back to it. I just curious because I know we were talking about different things, and I was encouraging you. I know one time we're at dinner to kind of like, let people know what the junk in the trunk, like, or in the truck, like what's going on back there. So like, what would have been the coolest thing you would have found, or like the coolest job you would have done, or like, is there any like job that stands out that kind of?
So I do have a recent one, actually. I had a firearm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't tell Trudeau.
No, it was wrapped in a towel, and I found it, and I'm glad I found it because the dump would not have been impressed if it just got dumped in there.
Right.
And they will look through your stuff, so that's why I'm very careful about what I take and that. So yeah, so it was a firearm. It didn't have the bolt. It had a key, trigger lock. Everything was safe.
Bolt action.
But yeah, so the bolt was taken out and it was safe. So I took it to Halifax police and turned it over and filled out paperwork. So people out there, if you're going to get rid of your firearms with me, just be prepared to get a phone call from the police because they're going to have lots of questions that I can't answer.
Yeah.
'Cause, why is a junk company getting rid of a gun? That's their number one question. Why are you trying to get rid of it this way? Like that's their take of it.
What's going on?
Was it used in something? That's just where their mind goes. And,
Yeah.
and I can totally justify everything that they believe and think. But they need to cross their T's and dot their I's and get their ducks in a row.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what automatically where my head went. It's like, oh, somebody used this in something they shouldn't have.
Yeah. So that was all fine and dandy, got that taken care of. But they tied me up for a little bit after.
If you don't want to give James your guns, you can give them to me. I'll take care of it.
I remember it wasn't a recent one, but I remember a long time ago. I did a job for a woman who lived in this big, beautiful house on the ocean, and she had a couch and a chair set that were like 6 months old, and she spilt red wine on them, and she had them professionally cleaned.
First world problems.
And it was a corduroy coach downfield.
Oh, okay.
Made in Canada. Like it was like
premium.
Nice. I still have it.
You still got it?
Yeah. And you could barely see the red wine. It was just a tinge, but she wasn't happy and she reordered a new set. And so she wanted to get rid of it. So I gave her a deal. We got rid of it, and it went right to my storage unit because I was just, at that time, I was young and just moving out on my own. Didn't have a coach. It's like, this would be great. And I still have that thing today. It's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah. Might be a little low for these old knees now, but
and she didn't even try and sell it. She was just like, nah.
No, she wasn't obviously. She was in a good position. She didn't need to worry about that.
She didn't care. It's one of those.
Yeah. So it's done me well. It's a great coach. It's corduroy. Awesome. My cats cannot scratch it, so they try and try and try.
What do you mean they try? They can't.
They can't pick it. The corduroy. It's too thick.
It's too thick.
Yeah. It's like they don't. Like they've been trying for years and barely have a mark on it.
Really?
Yeah.
They're just giving her no progress.
Made in Canada, but that doesn't happen anymore.
There's not a lot of stuff made in Canada, is there?
No.
We're very reliant on other countries to get our things, eh? I think that's also not a great thing.
I think so, too. I think when you look at, there's communities out there where money isn't even an option. You got a guy over there that he builds furniture. He builds homes. They grow food, and they just trade services and
yeah, sometimes I wonder if those people got
good
it
quality
figured out.
Stuff. My trailer is actually Amish made. It's solid as rock. Came from Ontario.
Amish made that. I thought they were woodworkers.
Canadian made. Yeah, it was great. No, they build trailers too.
No shit.
Yeah, and this thing's tough, so solid.
That still fits their whole ideology, like welding torches and stuff. I mean, I'm not, Amish want to build me a good trailer.
I didn't dig too far into it. Price was good.
Price was good.
It's like,
price was good. There you go.
Yeah, Canada Trailers. That's who.
Canada Trailers. Yeah, I used to work for Green Diamond out in Bears Lake, the John Deere dealership. That was one of my first jobs out of university. Actually, I went from working at the Goresbrook pub. I remember because I was like fist pumping in the pub because I didn't want to go back home and work the summer.
Right.
I wanted to stay in the city and start getting sales experience. And looking back, man, because I remember Dad and them said I had to get the job with the salary and benefit and pension. And at John Deere, they'd give you enough of a base that it would bare minimum. If I didn't sell shit, I could at least pay my rent.
Right.
But everything after that was all commission. And the service manager in the shop scared me away because wintertime, he was like, was coming into the end of summer. He's like, what are you going to do fall, winter?
Mm-hmm.
I go, I don't know, man. I was just going to sell stuff here. He's like, yeah, like what? He's like, you ain't selling too much lawn gear and tractors and all that stuff. You know, that's summer gear. He's like, all we got here in the winter is like snow blowers. And yeah, you sell the odd tractor for plowing and snow removal, but he's like, you know, you might starve. And I was like, oh dear, like I got to get out of here. But yeah, it was actually a great little job. Like I, you know, thinking about what I do now versus like what I was doing. Like if I would have just had enough stomach to stay in the full commission, I think I might have been in like the realtor chair a little bit sooner.
Right. Oh yeah.
Because I always had an ambition to do it, but old buddy or my old roommate's girlfriend at the time, her father was in it and he scared me right out of it, and I just went hard right turn in the corporate world.
But the Goresburg job would have been good too. Like I worked in the bar industry for a long time in the
I was
city.
door staff.
And yeah, even then, like you learn a lot of skills.
You
You learn how to talk to people.
Yeah.
I was like a big shell guy until I started bouncing and working in bars that way, and like bussing and bartending, serving. Totally opened me right up.
Yeah, just like your personality.
Oh
and
yeah,
like the way you approach
comfortable
people.
talking to people and approach, and yeah, I'm able to assess things and like certain things don't bother you as much because you get like, you know, that's not a big deal.
You get the exposure.
Yeah, it's great for students, and the money's always good when you're in tips and stuff too.
Yeah. I did do a bit of serving when I was young, like in high school and stuff, and then I moved over more because I'd do the odd fishing job with Dad or his friends, and then I, you know, wanted kind of a more steady part-time job instead of like, you know, helter-skelter work here and there. But yeah, definitely the serving definitely give you kind of some additional perspective on like the different types of people out there and the different personalities.
Absolutely. And it's fun. There's like a lot of memories come from that stuff.
Yeah, and I was never like a shy kid. Like I mean, I'm doing this now, so some people could probably say I'm not at all, but like this come harder than people think, like doing the podcasting. But I could like go out and strike up a conversation with anybody. Like it really wouldn't bother me. Like I tend to be able to find some common ground with most people because I do. I mean, maybe it's like a problem of mine. Like I'm like a compulsive. Like I do a lot of stuff.
Right.
Like I like to fish. I like to golf. I like to hunt. I like jujitsu. I like running. You know, I used to be into powerlifting. I used to do bodybuilding. I used to, you know, there's so many different facets of life that I've kind of experienced that I usually can like, I can kind of link in with
a little about a lot.
Yeah, a little about a lot. Yeah,
and that's not a bad thing. I'm the same way. I
Yeah.
like to think because I've tried so many different experiences, sales, labor, you know, emergency services, bars, like all kinds of different jobs. I even sailed on a tall ship one summer too.
That's
like,
cool.
It's like, yeah, it was the Highlander Sea. It was built to race the original Blue Nose. It never got to, and then Secunda Marine owned it and used it as a training vessel. And I had a good link to get on it for the summer, and it was in dry docks in Lunenburg, and we lived on it. And it was out of the water, and then we put it in the water and sailed around here. And we were supposed to go tour all the 18 Caribbean islands that winter, and then they up and sold it to a different port just before. So I had it all planned out. It was like the movie Cocktail, Tom Cruise.
I never seen that one.
Okay,
I'll have to make a note here.
So my whole theory was from that movie, because that's how young I was, is I'm going to jump ship and go bartend down south somewhere when this boat gets down there.
Yeah, man. You know, that's one thing. As much as I wasn't scared to speak to people, like I've had buddies that like went down and like sold security down in the States, like in like California, or like went away and worked on a resort in like Banff or wherever, or like a ski resort, or like went down and did something down south. Like I was very outgoing, but that was intimidating to me, to leave what I knew and the people and the support. That was kind of
my first time when I went to Camrose, Alberta. I was terrified.
Yeah.
I only did it. I had a buddy with me, and we both were working in the bar, and we decided, like within a month of leaving, we decided we're gonna pack. I had a Bronco, Eddie,
like the legit one,
5.8 liter
nice.
Eddie Bauer,
Yes,
green and gold,
the OG.
And we were like, let's pack it up and peace out. And we did, with no plan. Landed in Camrose with no plan. met a realtor who gave us his basement for free until we got set up, and then found jobs.
Better friend than Don. Shout out Don Rainey.
Shout out Don Rainey.
Just kidding.
Get a room.
Don's a great
I'll
friend.
be looking in here, Don. You got room?
That's it. Yeah. Has he bought his place yet?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he's been doing.
He's just been a vagrant. Vagabond just going around.
He's a busy guy.
I know.
He's you never know what he's gonna do next.
You never know.
No, he's always got something.
I never know what he's doing until he's calling me to ask me to do something.
Yeah. There's no preempting with Tom. You better be ready.
Ready. Sitting on the ready.
Yeah. So, and then we just went out there and I started working. My buddy's cousins all working in a pipe coating factory. So we went there and started working and just hung out and worked and went to country bars. That's one thing I regret. I don't regret a lot, and I mean I'm not dead yet, so I still got plenty of time. But you get older, you get more responsibility, and it's like I kind of make the saying like life's just a bill, and it's as big as you want to make it. And the older you get, the bigger it gets because you got more responsibility. The one thing that I regret is like not doing something like that. Not because I don't know, we grew up in a small town and like everybody was pretty content with just doing the small town stuff. Like I was always a bit of like I think I call myself a bit more the outcast, right?
Because I lived in Argyle, but I hung out and went to school in Pubnico, and like Pubnico is like its own little world over there. Like
Halifax was a big deal then.
Well, that's it. It was a big deal. I remember when we come to the city, like as kids, we're like going to Halifax. But, oh my God, we're going to the city, and you drive around, look at all the buildings. It was like because like downtown Yarmouth is like the tallest buildings, like the
Atlantic
the Rod Grand
Playland
Hotel.
was like your Disney World.
Oh man, yeah, it was like mind blowing, and like so to go anywhere further than that on your own.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot, but
you got to do. I did a few different things. That was like my first time ever going down south.
My parents kept me back. They were terrified.
Friends that wanted somebody to cat sit for 3 weeks in Cozumel, Mexico, and I'd never been anywhere outside the Canada and the States. I've never been down south and knew nothing about that culture. I was like, I'm going to do it. I said, I'll do it for you. I jumped on a plane, landed in Cancun.
And how'd you know these people?
I just knew them from up here. He's like, yeah, I knew their brothers and stuff, and I knew them from working. Like they were from here and they moved to Cozumel to live.
Right.
And they both wanted to come up here to visit, but they had cats and needed somebody to take care of them.
So you flew down, took care of it?
Flew to Cancun, took a bus to Playa. Again, never knowing what I was doing. Took a boat.
At least not far from the airport.
Took a boat to Cozumel. Went to some pub. Met a guy from South Africa that owned it. He drove me to this duplex, gave me their keys, and there I was for 3 weeks. And that was culture shock. And like, it was amazing. It was an amazing experience. And I'm glad I did that, and I'll do more at-risk things like that.
Well, how old were you when you did that?
That was only, like, I was older. That was like 2018.
Okay, it wasn't that far away.
It wasn't 2017, yeah.
Well, that's cool. Like, hey, I'm just going to go chill, watch some cats for a few weeks. Yeah. Only fucking thing to worry about is watching these cats.
It was amazing. And I got to know the locals and go to local places. And it was just a phenomenal place. Like, I'll do it again for sure.
Never ran into the cartel or anything?
No, see, on Cozumel, the taxi drivers are the cartel. You don't mess with the taxi drivers.
Really?
Yeah. They were there. I guess a lot of the cartel was, the island was still pretty good. It's a lot of expats that own the bars and stuff. But maybe now it's different. But back then it was like, you don't mess with the taxi drivers.
Fair.
That's what it was. Yeah.
It's funny you say that, and I'll just say what I heard when I was in Mexico loosely. A few people, man. I don't know if it's true or how much weight it holds, and I don't know if the taxi guys are still the OGs too, but like people are always like, oh, Mexico, cartel, people dying, tourists. It's like, yeah, you can find trouble wherever you go. But the guys at the resort I was at was like, he's like, I'm not going to lie to you. The cartel owns these places.
Oh, yeah.
So the last place you're going to get lost or get got is at the resort.
Yeah.
So as long as you're not going off resort being foolish like Coco Bongo or that bar that everybody, and that's probably pretty well looked after because there's a lot of tourism there.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, like just like don't be an idiot, stay close to the resort, you'll be fine. But I will say at Jamaica, we went to, holy Christ, I'd just been there. What was it? Anyway, the name will come to me later. It was in Montego Bay. The lifeguards were the ones that you could get whatever you wanted.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I don't know if I looked like a partier. I mean, I used to party, but I had like the pit viper sunglasses, backwards hat. You know, I got some tattoos, and like they'd come right up to me every day, be like, "Hey, bro, you good?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm good. Vacation's good. Yeah, honeymoon's good. What's up?" They're like, "Oh, just want to let you know we can get whatever you want."
I had one guy approach me when I was walking home from the bar, and I was just walking through a residential area, and this guy came out of this, like some alley, boom, like right next to me, and he's just walking next to me. He's just breaking up conversation. Oh, where's your wife? Where's your kids? Da da da. I'm like, and I just stop, and he's like, I can get you whatever. And I look at him, I was like, dude, too many questions.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm about twice the size of this guy, and it was just. And then he just kind of slowly backs off and then goes down another alley and disappears. It was the only like weird experience I had while I was down
Must
there.
have been his jam. He'd just like lurk in the alleys till he seen some walkers
Yeah.
and come out at you.
And I think the too many questions the way I said it to him was like kind of like he's just kind of it's not what he's used to hearing.
Yeah,
it's
it's like, what you got?
Usually people are like, no, I'm good or whatever, or what you got. And it's like when you approach it a little more aggressive like that, it was like. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, buddy was like, I'll get you whatever you want. I was like, listen, man, I'm on my honeymoon. Like, I don't know what you think I need.
Yeah.
But, like, if you got some weed,
yeah,
I'll buy some weed.
I just cut it off right away, and I was like, too many questions. Like,
and I bought some weed, and FYI, don't buy the resort weed in Jamaica, unless that's all you can find, because it sucks.
Not what it's cracked up to be, eh?
No, I think the guys on the Sunset cruise we took, I was telling them about it. They're like, oh yeah, they're like the stuff they get up in the Blue Mountains where they also grow like the tobacco for their cigars and stuff. Like they ship all the good stuff out, you get the rest.
Right, yeah.
But they know that you'll buy it because you're in Jamaica on a resort.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, you're right. I definitely did buy it, but it wasn't like a enjoyable experience.
Right.
It just like did the job.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, it is what it is. So we went the coolest thing. So the couch, the gun, that was kind of the coolest find.
Yeah, I mean the couch it's just a couch, but I think it was just the fact that it was brand new and it was like high end. And it was like
because you never know, like different levels of people just don't, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean I've got lots of newer stuff. I had a bike this summer that I got that was a next to brand new giant bike, like it was like barely used.
Nice.
It was like, you know.
Those are a couple $1,000.
Yeah, it was
or
like,
at least
a few hundred. Yeah, it was like
depending on the level of giant bike.
Right,
anyway.
and you know things like that. I'll probably just try to flip them in my business as opposed to like donate or something. It just helps my business and helps me be able to do certain things that I want to do.
Yeah,
100%.
And
it helps. The money I can revenue from that does help me be able to give people lower quotes because, you know, I don't have to count on that extra money as much.
Yeah, and probably different than like those franchise companies. Maybe they got regulations and more rules around what they can do and the flexibility.
Yeah,
and all that.
they each have their own little niche in how they deal with that stuff. Don't let them fool you. I'm telling you right now, I'll sell some stuff.
Yeah,
they're all selling, and if they're telling you they're not, they're lying.
Yeah,
you know, I donate, I recycle, and yeah, I will sell. You know, I've got like
we're all capitalists.
Brand new label printer that was never used. I got it in a job. It's still packaged in the box. I got it up for sale. You know, but I also
how much is that label printer? You sell it?
I'll give you a good deal.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm using it for my mail outs.
Yeah, for sure. And then I got a brand new printer that's unused. It's Walmart. I'm gonna donate that. I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna donate it to a not-for-profit or to somebody that needs.
Yeah, a printer.
Yeah, a printer. I got a little monitor for it too. It's like
perfect.
Yeah, like stuff like that. I'm going to donate. I'm just going to donate to the right spot, and I have it room, and I can keep it there until I find the right spot for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So on to the next one. I don't know if you can or like I don't want to put you in a position, but what would have been like the weirdest or worst job you've ever taken on? Like the the learnings.
Well, I just put my foot through a stair there the other week when I was doing a job because the stairs were so rotten.
Oof.
But it would have been like a while back. I did a job. It was a bit of a hoarder situation. It was in rural Nova Scotia.
Whereabouts?
Out Muscatawbet way.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a trailer, and it was literally in the middle of the woods. And
but
it was like
didn't have anywhere to put the junk.
There was a dead cat, and there was like dead mice, but there was like
in amongst
the garbage
in the dwelling.
No, it was outside, but it was
Oh.
like outside there was a lot of garbage bins that were open but had bags of garbage. And so they filled with water and they've been sitting there for I don't know how many years. And it's just the smell.
Ugh.
I can never forget that smell because it was just putrid. Like I mean, I've smelled dead bodies and things and this compares. And it was bad. And especially when it's splashing on you and you're picking things up and you're trekking around in it.
Where'd you smell dead bodies? Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah, no, I used to work in doing morgue duties and stuff in
Oh,
the
okay.
hospital, so it's
People
things
might
like
be
that.
wondering, like,
Yeah, no, it's like
just want to
it's
clear
one
that
of
one
those-
up.
So yeah, not in any junk jobs.
Right?
They-
Yeah. I was like, holy shit.
I don't know if I'd get into that business.
Yeah.
It's a very
That's a different junk removal business for different kind of
there's
clientele.
very
right?
few companies that do it in Nova Scotia. I've learned, and
It's a joke.
and there's oh yeah, but it's
Working for the mob or
they,
something.
yeah, oh yeah, it's a massive. But back to the cartel. No,
Yeah, right.
But no, so it was just it wasn't like I've done lots of different hoarder jobs and that, but it's just I remember the smell because of the water and the garbage sitting in it for literally years. It was
Yeah.
just untouched, and it was probably toxic, to be honest with you. I don't even know.
Yeah.
It might have been.
Yeah, man. Who knows?
I imagine if I took a black light out, there might have been some glowing going on around there.
Yeah, I'm sure. Ask my wife. She's with forensics with the HRP there. But yeah, man. I mean, I can't relate to exactly what you're talking about. But like, I grew up with a lobster fisherman, and like, you know, we used to go help like load the boats and go to dumping day and bait up the traps for the first few hauls. And some of the old fellas, actually, one of the guys that I used to go fishing with he's younger than Dad. He just has a few. I don't know if he does it anymore. He did when we were younger, going a lot of banding lobsters with him. They'd use salt bait.
Right.
It was, basically, bait bags of herring and whatever. I don't know. Like herring was the main one. And they'd basically salt it in a brine in a barrel, those blue barrels, and they'd clamp it down and they just soak in there. And I don't know how long it would take to get it to smell like that. But you pop one of those off.
Oh yeah.
You don't matter how congested or whatever, everything's cleared
It's
up
like
after
that.
that.
See that canned food or canned fish that everybody has videos of them eating or opening. It's like a Swedish fish or something that's canned. It's like
Oh, it's got to be worse than that.
smellest fish in the world or something.
Oh,
I forget the name. It's like crazy long name, but it's,
I'd put it up against salt bait.
yeah.
Oh, for sure, man. Oh, you just like it was so bad. Like Mom would make us get undressed outside.
And the fact that it's bait too, and it's just all the nasty stuff. Right?
Yeah,
Like,
and then
it's
you're
like-
handling it all day, putting it on the spindles in the traps and
fish
putting them.
smells don't come.
And then you
off
got to
very
take
good.
off the old bag that's got the
Yeah,
remnants, and that smells
yeah.
probably worse.
It's the smell that lives with you for the rest of your life.
Oh, I
yeah.
still can smell it back here somewhere in
Yeah,
the back of my
so-
nose.
So probably doing that, like, I mean, there was bags of like you're talking like a garbage bin full of water with garbage bags in it that have like diapers in it and things like
Oh.
for a long time. You're crawling under the trailer, you're pulling stuff out. It's just
Yeah, my buddy works volunteer fire, and I won't say where it is, but it's local here in Sackville. He said they went to a call. I don't know why the fire department got involved or the volunteer. Like, I don't know. But anyway, they went in there, same thing, pretty bad situation hoarder-wise. And, like, the worst part was the person residing in that dwelling was bagging up their feces and their urine and storing it in their tub.
yeah. That's
All of
wild.
it.
I don't understand it.
And like said, like you wouldn't know, like young person, young child, look pretty normal.
And this kind of plays into like where I want to go with the hoarding situation because there's a lot of mental health with it
Yeah.
that comes, and I would love to be able to partner with a psychologist and help somebody.
Right.
Like, that's kind of one of my goals is to start getting into that. It would
Yeah.
be, it would be great.
Like, hey, I'm here to help, but like here
Yeah,
I got
we're-
somebody that might be able to.
Yeah,
I don't know how you segue it in, but
Well, I mean, you just find that situation. Like maybe you go to adult protection and you say, "Hey, we're looking for this. Is there anybody we can help?" Or
yeah,
like they might have an option, or it'll come to you when you go looking for it.
yeah,
But
and that makes sense. Like you find a problem and you provide a solution. It's like God forbid they could do that for our homeless situation instead of just like giving our money away to people that, to my idea, it's like, hey, we found a problem. Let's throw some money at it and provide a solution. And like, here's the steps on how we can get you from homeless to not homeless. But you got to get in this program. And like, you got to be willing to do XYZ things to get the help. But it seems like everybody's just happy with shuffling them around and jamming them in encampments. And it's a shame, really, that there's just kind of not really getting taken care of.
Yeah, I don't know what these, like, I have no real opinion on it because I don't have a professional, like, I can't give any real advice on it. But
Me neither.
I think for the cameras, I think that what I can say is I think that they should go to somewhere like over in Dartmouth where there's the big open air space. And I think they're doing that now or looking at it because you can put in whatever amenities you need. You can have a good visual of it, secure wise and for the safety. Yeah, I know some of the complaints was there's no bus routes, but you can throw a bus route in. That's not a problem. Like,
yeah, and I mean they're not busing really, are they?
I don't know. I don't know
much about it.
I guess we'd have to know each of their situations and what they're doing, where they're going.
And I know there's different levels. There's, degenerate drug addict that can barely take care of themselves or anybody else, and then there's just people on hard times. And like, for me, it'd be like, if you want the help, there should be a program to help.
Yeah.
And if you don't want the help, and you just want to live that life, and that's,
there are programs. I think what it comes with programs is probably too much red tape. And what qualifies? How do you qualify? What qualifies? And
how do you qualify?
Probably loosen that up a bit, and then they might get some more.
Yeah, because I know, like, just from some insider info, and I won't say who because she might get in trouble, but, a lot of those places that are providing housing and hot rooms and meals and stuff, there's stipulations around it, and it's curfew and no drug use and no domestics, and all the money, the tax money, the base from the HRM that's going to pay for that stuff, they're spending I don't know how many millions, and it's fairly underutilized because a lot of them just want the freedom to do whatever they want and come and go when they want.
Right, but I think you need it too because you want it to work, but you don't want it to be that comfortable that they want to stay long.
Fair.
Yeah, I want to use these services. I want to get myself together and get out because I'm not keen on this lifestyle, like living under these rules and and that. And yeah, I can't take my tent and go over here because we're not allowed now. Like, and I think that should be a thing.
Yeah.
But make it safe and comfortable, but make it that they don't want to stay very long. Because then they'll work. Hopefully that encourages somebody to work to get out of it. Right?
Yeah, work towards a solution for themselves.
It's like being a rookie in a football team, and you're like, I want to play. It's like, you're not going to play your first year. You're gonna work hard and earn that right. And then they see all the guys playing and getting popular and having fun and scoring points, and they're like, I want that. And it's like, well, work for it, and here you go. Work to get yourself out of the situation into the next.
Yeah, and maybe that's what it's going to take. Some kind of, I don't want to use the word mentorship program, but like what do they call people that are an AD sponsor? Maybe they get some kind of sponsor program.
They do it for entrepreneurs as entrepreneur
they do
sponsors.
It for alcoholics.
So
Alcoholics Anonymous has a sponsorship program. It's like maybe you should find. Maybe that's what the kind of group they need is like a guy that's running like a homeless support group, and he was once homeless and now he's not, and here's how I did it, and maybe that inspires people to kind of,
I think maybe
give it a go. Like,
and this is just a thought, maybe when you give somebody housing, and then maybe there is now, I don't know, but there's like quarterly inspections. We come in and inspect your place. If you're not keeping it up and keeping things clean and not hoarding, well, then you lose the right for that.
Yeah, you got to keep in good standing for the next person.
Like, I don't think they do, but maybe you have to earn that, and you're going to earn the roof over your head until you earn the next one.
Yeah, and even if you can't pay for the first one, like, take care of it like you own it.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense to me to have some kind of evaluation process instead of just being like, okay, we got this bed, that bed, these ones to fill, boop, 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 and it's just like, no
There's
real regard.
always going to be people to help. There's always going to be that. And those programs are designed to do that. But I feel like there's a good percentage of the people that are out there can help themselves, and they just need to be given the structure to do it. And
yeah, you know what? I think a lot of it kind of maybe comes down to structure, or like, where do I start? And like, because a lot of people, speaking like, you're an entrepreneur, I'm an entrepreneur. The hardest part was to get started.
Yeah. Yeah. The scariest part, too.
The scariest part. Scariest part.
Absolutely.
So couldn't you imagine being in a situation like that and just being terrified? And
my hand was shaking. I was signing the bills for buying the trailer and
oh, I bet,
buying the truck, and I'm like, well, it's like just
we got to make it work now.
Going backwards here.
Yeah. Hey, man, trust me, man. First couple of years of my real estate business, if I didn't have terminations, I wouldn't have had any deals.
Right.
But, you live and learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I'm lucky I had friends like Don and my mentor Naz and my awesome wife and some great friends, and everybody's very supportive, and it's just, some things take time, and it's like in the world of like instant gratification we live in today, it's just not realistic to think like you can get it like that.
Absolutely.
So I think it's like just being realistic.
I think so. I think it is. It pays dividends to just take the risk and just work hard.
Yeah, and I'm the worst for it.
I don't know how much time I've watching TV. There's not a lot of TV I've watched since I started this.
Yeah.
It's like, I think actually my cable line's broken in the living room because the cat chewed through it, and I just haven't done anything with it because I don't use it.
We just got internet, Netflix or whatever, and we watched probably too much of that. But yeah, man, it's just like, it's nice to have the support, and it's going to take time, and some people, they get in and they might get in and do it quicker than you, but you don't know, each person's scenario or situation is different. And
I see guys out there that have been starting up, and they come in, they've got an excavator, they got dumpsters, they got trucks, they got a truck to pick up bags. They put all that money out right away, and that's fine if you can do it and swing it. But for me, I'd rather start small and work up, because
minimum viable product.
That's a lot of overhead to cover.
A lot of stress.
And I know that jobs don't come that fast, so it's.
Yeah, but some people want to have the glitz and the glam and all this good stuff. And, and I learned, growing up, like, people back home make a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. And they work hard for it.
Right.
But they some guys like to show it off too. And the people that show the most usually have the least. Yeah. Or they're leveraged right to the tits. Not everybody, if you're one of the people that are making it real good. But, like, for the most part, if you're a showboaty, look at all my stuff, you might be pretty stressed out.
I did a job once for a nice big fancy house, and I had to go pick up some stuff out of the garage, and there was a coach, and we were talking over $1 million his home, and the coach, I literally picked it up with one arm and put it in the back of the truck.
Yeah.
It was just some cheapest thing you could find.
For some reason, that's why they got money, right?
Yeah. So it's not always. It might always look good and shiny, but it's not always the case. And
smoke and mirrors, man.
Yeah, and maybe it's preference too, but I still think it's like there's a lot of people living outside their means.
Oh, definitely. But it's like, it's like the keeping up with the Joneses. It's like, you look on Instagram, all the highlight reels. It's like, oh, I need to go on a vacation so I can put the sweet beach picture or whatever, or like, all the awesome meals I'm having, or the hikes and excursions. And it's just like that's the toxic part of social media. And I've been, fighting against it too. Cause like, yeah, I love shiny new stuff. I used to be the worst for it when I was
I am the worst for it. Yeah. Trust me. And it's just, being a business owner has humbled me in that aspect quite a bit. And
I used to be buying Jordans, Yeezys.
Yeah.
You had a salary paying you, I was doing good 6 figures. Like, I knew I had X amount coming in every couple of weeks. And if I seen something I wanted, I went and bought it.
Yep.
I didn't care.
Yeah, absolutely. Same. And it's
looking back, probably should have been a bit more frugal, but luckily my wife is very frugal. And we pair well together. So
yeah.
I'm a lot of go and she's more my woe. So it works
That's
out.
a good line.
Right?
I like that one. So.
But anyway, man, I don't want to keep you any longer. We've been just over an hour, but I think it's important. I just want to kind of breeze through the last little bit here. Is like, what could people hire you for? Is there specific jobs? You don't want to get the wrong calls, but you want to get the calls. Like what services do you provide to the public out there?
So it's full service junk removal. So I don't have a dumpster I'm going to drop off for you to fill, unfortunately. Maybe down the road I can break into that category, but for now it's full service junk removal. I come to your house, you point at what you want, and I remove it. I don't take paint. I don't take chemicals. I will tell you how you can get rid of them for free at no cost.
Where do they go?
The GFL puts on pickups throughout HRM. They're on the HRM's recycle page.
Okay.
They make all kinds of posts every week about new locations where you can go drop that stuff off. I've already priced it out with GFL. It's not feasible. What I would need to charge a customer to get rid of paint would be astronomical.
So it's better to just get rid of it on your own.
They don't deal commercial in that aspect unless it's big
right
money. But I do shed demolitions. I do hot tub removals and demolitions. I will not do deck demos that are attached to your home for the sake of I am fully insured to come in your house and remove items and that. I'm not insured to be demoing stuff that's attached to a house.
So this has to be pre-detached, kind of.
Pre-detached, yeah. Or if you've demoed it and just put it in a pile somewhere, wherever is easiest for you, or just right on the spot. There's guys that will do that, and I encourage you as a homeowner to ask to see their insurance first, because there's guys that are out there doing this and they're not insured. And things are going to happen to people's properties, and they're going to get upset when that guy just vanishes or whatever, and you can't hold him responsible.
Yeah, man, it's like we just did a bathroom demo upstairs, and the guys were like, are you guys going to do a demo? We're like, yeah, we can handle that. And well, you got it in the back of your truck, so. But like we wanted to we had this little linen closet, and it was like, it's just a small bathroom, and it's like just built like I think it's like 43-year-old home or something like that. It's in the 40s anyway. And I just found the ventilation, it's just always right. The moisture, and you kind of have to be cleaning up a bit of surface mold or whatever, because it just doesn't breathe.
Right.
So we wanted to open that up and just have shelves, maybe a little cabinet down to
right.
put some towels, but from the cabinet up, just be shelves to let that kind of breathe. And obviously there's door framing in there, and demo, you kind of yank on one thing sometimes, there's still a nail in that, and sometimes I yank pretty hard, and I just yanked the whole frame the whole thing out, and the guys come in like, oh, what happened here? I go, well, you know how demos go, you yank here and pull there, and that won't come, and you give it a good tug, and then it all goes. And he's like, oh yeah, just we'll fix that.
Exactly.
So it's imagine that on your house, you rip something.
Trucks backing in your driveway, taking out a corner or
right.
something. Like I'm completely fully insured for that.
Yeah.
And, I do full estate cleanouts. If some people, I've been in this situation myself where I had a house. It took me 2.5 30-foot U-Hauls or whatever they are to get rid of everything.
Right.
And I can teach people, I can coach people through that. If you need me to go through and help you find what's valuable too, I will do that in terms of getting rid of it, because if you don't know, storage room cleanouts, I've done, crawled under decks, so woods cleanups. There's garbage all throughout the woods that a construction company had left behind, and I cleaned all that up for somebody. So pretty much anything and everything, I can come out and provide you with a free quote on site. We can walk through. I can show you how I'll do the demo or talk about the whole process. If you're happy with it, in most cases, I can do it there on the spot, or just book me for another time after, and I'll come back and get rid of it. So
that's awesome, man. So where can people find you online?
www.atlanticjunk.ca is
nice.
The website. I have online booking through there too, which is very easy to use.
So clickety-clack, your book, your availability, it's all there.
It's all there. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I have to look it up. I think it's AJR Halifax or Atlantic Junk.
We'll put it all in the description.
There. Yeah. TikTok, I'm on that too.
Yes, sir.
It's a good one. And then YouTube is coming. I'm still building content. And
you gotta do it, man.
I have to get that going. It's just
I think junk on the truck.
Junk on the truck,
yes,
and
sir.
I just need to find that breakthrough and then start it and go.
Yeah, man.
And so I'm trying to collect some content so that I don't have nothing sitting there waiting to go.
Yeah, man, I think that's going to take off better than you think, man.
Yeah, I hope so.
I know you did a little video, just like I think we put it on your Instagram, and I was like, finally.
Yeah.
He's doing it.
I wish more jobs like that would come around,
Right?
but it's hard to dig through an old rotten deck and
Yeah,
find something good.
Yeah, well, these nails are still good. Yeah, you got to get some exciting stuff, like some estate clean outs or some like storage locker stuff. Like, there's always stuff getting forgot.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have some videos, some content, so I just haven't posted them yet. Stay tuned. So.
Keeping it from us.
Yeah.
All right, my man. Well, thanks so much, James. I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you helping me out with that junk. And if anybody else out there needs to get some junk taken care of, that's your guy. So give him a shout. We'll let you get about your day.
Thanks, man.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.